Generational wealth doesn't come from hustle, it comes from habits. My name is D.L. Woods. I want to come to you guys and let you guys know we've been in the financial industry since 2008. I've then pivoted into day trading, had multiple millions created, and literally met this gentleman along the ride. This is my brother, Jared Wilkins. Go ahead, introduce yourself, give your background.
Well, as you said, my name is Jared Wilkins. I have been an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur for many years. I got started in 2004. I know I don't look it, thank you so much. But, pivoted into the financial services arena almost 6 years ago. Started off in the trading and investment world. And of course, through life circumstances, we actually found ourselves in the life insurance and annuities business. One of the things I would say is this, that you are born looking like your parents, but you die looking like your choices. And one of the things that people have to understand is that there's no way to build generational wealth when you don't have generational knowledge. And that's what we're going to discuss today.
My situation is I became the guy, and I'm pretty sure you guys have the same philosophy is I want to make all of this money because of the amount of people that I'm going to help.
Yes.
You see, me personally, I became that guy in the family that everybody would call on when it came time for financial need. One of my mentors told me that you do not need to place somebody else's emergency as your own emergency. But I wanted to make sure that I had enough money to handle any financial struggle.
Yes.
Now, along that line, another quote came in my mind, which was, who tows the tow truck? And that right there is, I got tired of being the call where everybody would call to pay for funerals, pay for processions, pay for cremations, pay for repasses, headstones, burial plots, all of these different things. And it's like, well, we need to go ahead and talk about some life insurance for you guys. Let's make financial habits more so. And it came to a place where I started talking to you and Portia, his wife's Portia, about what I was going through with my grandfather. My grandfather was down. He had a stroke and literally wasn't able to walk. And so for about a year and a half, I was paying out of pocket anywhere between $2,500 to $4,000, depending on whether or not if they were going to see the specialists and things of that nature, so that he could actually be rehabilitated so he could walk again. And me personally, I was talking to Portia, and she said, based off of the type of life insurance policies that he could have had if they were with the company, it would have literally paid money out of pocket, out of the policy versus me out of my pocket.
Yeah. I think for us, that was the same position we're in terms of becoming educated on living benefits. And most people don't know about living benefits inside of a life insurance policy.
Most people think it's death insurance.
Yeah, because that's what we've been taught. You know, when somebody dies, you leave them an inheritance. So that's the death benefit aspect. But today, we don't want to talk about that part. That's a given. Let's just park that. Let's talk about living benefits, because most people like us didn't even know that existed. So living benefits is the aspect of life insurance, whereas you don't have to die in order to use it. Imagine that, right? So for us, when we discovered this, it was because my dad was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer at the time, throat cancer. And we were, kind of going through the whole process of dealing with it. Come to find out, it progressed to stage 4. Now, this is when we're looking at the estate, you're doing your looking at the assets, we got to find out what's going on. And I discovered he didn't even have a life insurance policy, let alone living benefits within one. But that's when we got educated. And one of our dear friends told us, hey, are you guys familiar with living benefits? We're like, no, what's that? She said, well, it's the ability for you to use your life insurance policy, the face value of it, while you're alive. So in this example with National Life Group, he could have literally withdrawn up to 2% of the total value, face value of the policy for up to 40 plus months and been receiving a monthly deposit of that up to 2% every single month. So on a 2%. On $1 million policy, if he had a $1 million policy, 2% of that is $20,000 a month. So imagine getting $20,000 a month, tax-free, not tax-deferred, but tax-free, hitting your bank account for you to do whatever you want to do with the money, as long as you cannot perform 2 of the 6 daily functions, obviously verified by a physician, whereas You're not able to do toileting yourself. You're not able to do feeding yourself or transporting or any of those things. Yes, you can get that money and you can start paying your rent, your mortgage, whatever you have in terms of needs, because just because you have a diagnosis like stroke, just because you have cancer or any of these other situations that come about, doesn't mean bills stop.
Right.
And I had to learn that the hard way.
No, they still go.
Yeah.
They keep on going because the lights are on.
Yes.
And people have responsibilities.
Yes.
So you still got to pay those. And so we just uncovered something else, basically this right here, which is all life insurance policies work if you die, but what are yours going to do if you live?
That's right.
So living benefits in any situation, we're going to live and something along the line is going to happen. Are you prepared for when life happens has to be a question that we all think about when it comes to just living everyday life.
Yeah.
And so I know we were talking about the Living Life Defender, all of the things that happens inside of that policy.
Yep.
What can you tell me about a little bit about what is this annuity situation about?
Annuities, oh man, a lot of people don't even understand them. But basically, an annuity is a financial tool that allows you to be covered and protected, you and your family. And so doing a deeper dive, that's always, what I recommend people do on a one-on-one basis. But the general concept is, are you and your family protected financially in the long term? Now, we're living in an era and time where most people are trying to cover today. And they're not even thinking about tomorrow. They are running away from yesterday, trying to get by today, but very seldomly are they prepared for tomorrow. So an annuity or living benefits or life insurance does three things. Number one, in case you die too soon, it covers you. Number two, you become ill. And then number three, you live too long. The live too long part, that's where an annuity as a financial tool can play a major part in your life.
So there are three life insurance policies two types of life insurance.
Yeah.
You got term and then you have permanent. So term is just what it means. That means that it's there for a short fixed period of time. We joke about it a little bit and say it's kind of like you paying on a car for 20 years or whatever the case may be. And then on that 21st year, you lose the car or the house and you've been dumping your money into it the whole period of time.
Yeah.
So I no longer have that as a financial vehicle because I was only protected during that certain period of time.
Sure.
Then you have permanent. This is something that covers you for your entire life.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't mean you have to pay for it your entire life, but in certain vehicles in the permanent life space, you have what's called an IUL, which is an index universal life policy.
Yep.
You have a cash value whole life policy. That's some ones that and then there are many different types of life insurance, permanent life insurance as well. But those are the two, if you want to call it, those two are the powerhouses of the whole or permanent life policies.
Yeah.
Break down for me the IUL aspect, because that's a buzzword that's going around on social media where you could do either infinite banking or, generational wealth and things of that nature. Talk to me a little bit about the IUL.
Yeah, so IULs are a product under permanent life insurance.
Right.
Like you said, term is for term. It's like renting insurance, and permanent is like buying insurance.
Okay. And
so it does last your whole life, provided you make your premiums and you've paid it up. You can pay it up early, and just like a mortgage, now it's yours, right? But an IUL is the newest product under the permanent life insurance structure. And that's why it's getting a lot of buzz on TikTok, it's getting a lot of buzz on social media, because of the ability for it to be connected to the index, which is like, for example, your S&P 500.
Right.
You know a lot about this because you come from the trading and investment world. But, the S&P 500 are the top largest 500 corporations in the United States of America. And so with an IUL, the whole theme of it, an idea is for you to have downside protection with upside potential with a cap. And so an IUL stands for Indexed Universal Life Insurance. So it's a combination of both. You're connected to the Index 500 and you have insurance. Now, IULs are not for everybody. Just like term policies aren't for everybody. Just like a whole life policy is not for everybody. It is for the person that, based on their number one budget, number two, their needs, and number three, their goals. If this is a tool they can add to their tool shed, then it can be beneficial for them. So it's the term infinite banking, be your own bank. All it is are marketing terms describing and depicting an indexed universal life policy.
Okay. I know that there are infinite banking and things of that nature, just as concepts on how to properly structure IUL, as well as how people perform and utilize their IUL. So that's powerful. So basically, what we just said was, depending on where you're at financially, and where your goals are, your needs, that will determine which vehicle you actually go into. Yeah, most people don't even understand that you could actually get life insurance outside of just people that are in your family.
Oh, yeah,
like you're an entrepreneur, you have a business. There's something called key person insurance, where you'll be able to actually insure the person that is a master chef, somebody that is a key mechanic, a person that your business is pretty much built on. You know, TikTok and everything is going crazy. There's a guy that's talking about tendonism, you know, where that is a key person that builds that business. So that business could actually have life insurance on that gentleman, because that is the way that business is actually running. So you definitely want to get with somebody that you like, love, trust, and respect, that is knowledgeable about insurance, and they'll be able to service you. I know that most people, they actually don't just Google who's a life insurance person and then they go call that person. No. Typically, one person buys it from somebody that is a family friend, or somebody that is at a church, or somebody that works with them that just so happen to have a part-time opportunity that they're actually offering life insurance. So talk to me a little bit about people who decide to take on life insurance as a way to supplement their income.
Well, most people start off their insurance career on a part-time basis. So they work a full-time job, they have a full-time career, and then they're, promoting, marketing, and selling life insurance.
The Jim Rohn approach.
Yeah, they're doing it part-time.
Absolutely.
And so there's nothing wrong with that, because typically you have your big multi-billion-dollar insurance companies. They don't want to be the ones hiring all the agents, training all the agents to sell their products. They want to focus on their strength, their area of expertise, which is creating incredible products for people. And so what they'll do is contract with financial marketing organizations or independent marketing organizations that would do the recruiting, that would do the training of these agents on their products. And so that's where you see some people become part-time agents in order to actually, supplement their income. Now, it's extremely lucrative. The financial services arena, right under professional athletes, the number one earners are financial services providers. And agents, people that are marketing financial products. And so if you want to make an insane amount of money and do it ethically, morally, with integrity, and also have a level of fulfillment that what you're marketing, the product that you're selling, there is an end user that is a grandma, that is a grandpa, that's a son, that's a daughter that's getting real value from it. This is the profession for you. Why do I say that? Well, I can tell you, you can go market a bevy of different things, right? And we see people doing it all the time and doing well. But in this profession, you can do well while doing good. And that's what I love about it. And you can start part-time. 90+% of people start part-time, and they do it by simply writing policies. This is the first business that I've ever been involved with, whereas I see more people earning a part-time six figures and multiple six figures. I'm talking about $200,000 a year and more without recruiting anybody. Simply producing policies themselves, meaning they're talking to family, they're talking to friends, they're talking to people that they worship with, people that go to their children's schools, because all these individuals either A, need a policy, or B, deserve a policy. And they're having a conversation with them, and simply having them become clients, they're making a lot of money.
Okay, so let's talk about this comp plan breakdown real quick, because we talk about a part-time six figures and multiple six figures. Let's talk about how that all can actually happen. Let's say that you was to sit down with a family and you were $250, like we said in our illustration. It is that full year, the life insurance company, what it does is it actually takes the full year and that says $250 times 12. That'll be $3,000. Now, based off of the level and contract that you're at, most people that get started with us, we have a fast start plan that allows you to get to a 55% contract. And from there, you'll be able to earn off of that one conversation that you deal with a family about $1,650 off of that conversation. Now, let me ask you this. I don't know about you, but my first job, I remember my first job, the pay raise that I got when I was in my job world, it was anywhere between a quarter all the way up to $2. I remember that was the biggest raise I've ever got was $2. Now, if I did the math right, $2 times 40 hours, that was about $80 that I got. Well, and I was paid every 2 weeks, so that was $160 that I got in that added money onto my check. We just talked about $1,650 off of one conversation. Let me ask you, how long does it take to properly protect a family? How many hours would you say?
It depends. Sometimes as little as 1 hour. Some people are in the market looking for the products and services that we had. And to your point, it could take an hour, maybe 2 hours for that conversation. But we're not just talking about term policies. That's one product. We're not just talking about permanent policies. You mentioned key persons insurance. You know, record companies, record executives, when all these rappers started losing their lives to gun violence and so forth and so on.
Right.
They were putting key persons insurance on those rappers and getting paid out on the death benefit of it. And some people took homage to it. They were angry. They were upset. How could you do it? Well, that's a key person. It's an investment. There are other strategies that you will talk about with people for an hour or 2 hours. And here's the beautiful thing. You're typically, when you become a part of our organization, you're not doing the talking. You're doing the connecting. As somebody who's a certified field trainer is doing all of the talking, all of the explaining, all of the fact finding, but you get paid your beginning contract of 55% once you go through our fast start. To me, that was so exciting. So you're talking about $1,600 for an hour, maybe an hour and a half conversation that you did not have, but you were a part of, so you could learn and get paid for learning. I call it the greatest paid while you learn training program I've ever seen.
So for that person, let's say for me, I don't like sales.
Okay,
you
great.
know what I'm saying? So I want to do this, but I don't like selling to people. What would you say to that person?
Great. Just schedule the appointments and let somebody else not sell, but consult. See, in our business, we don't sell because nobody wants to be sold, but everybody wants to buy. And so your job is to simply set up the appointment. And we teach you how to do this. You set up the appointment and let one of our trained professional agents do all of the fact finding, all of the questioning. Like, for example, I never forget, we were having one of these conversations during my training process. And my senior partner asked the gentleman, let me ask you a question. Because he was asking about, assets and asset management. She said, do you know you could use your life insurance as an asset for collateral assignment? He was like, what do you mean? He says exactly what I said. He said, what about term policy? He said, yeah, you could use this with the proper structure as collateral assignment to get a bank loan. And she gave the example of a client that was in California that needed about $1.5 million to acquire a restaurant. He had about $500,000 liquid, which, a lot of people don't have that, but he had at least $500,000, but he still was short $1.5 million. So what ended up happening was he filled out the proper paperwork with his agent and they presented it to the bank. And do you know, he simply used his life insurance policy as collateral assignment to get that $1.5 million, and he went and purchased that restaurant. See, these are all strategies that most people aren't educated on, but during the conversations, I always tell people, D, that discussions lead to discoveries, and discoveries always lead to deposits. But you've got to be having the right discussions.
Right. So, all right. So you're known for building businesses around the world and different countries. Last year, I think you told me, how many countries you went to?
I was in 15 countries in 9 months.
That's crazy work. All right. But I know with this business, you are really here. You're in the United States building exclusively. What is it? What is the benefit with this financial model that you will actually experience by building an organization with this model?
Well, it's so fascinating you asked that because I've been team building in team building businesses for the better part of 20 plus years. Combined now, we've built teams of over 50,000 people. When I say we, I'm talking about my wife and I. Combined, we've built teams of over 50,000 people in a lot of different countries. And so when we looked at the financial services space, specifically insurance and annuities, I didn't even know you could build teams.
Right.
Because we were introduced as clients, and we ended up transitioning our policies from where they were over here to National Life Group because we got less monthly premium for more coverage, and they gave us living benefits. So I was so excited about that because of the personal result that we got from it, dealing with my dad, dealing with ourselves, that I just started talking to people and asking them, hey, are you familiar with living benefits? And people were like, no, what's that? I'm saying living benefits through a life insurance policy. Oh, what's that? And then I would literally set up the appointment for my senior partner to talk to them and explain it to them because I just had limited knowledge based on my experience, but I would tell them what I knew. And my senior partner on the appointments would talk to them about living benefits. You can add it to a term policy or a permanent policy. It did not matter. It's all about based on your budget, your needs, as well as your goals in life. And people started saying, yeah, I want to do that. And they would buy a policy. And this is what floored me. This had never happened to me before in my entire career of team building. People would literally be leaving the appointment saying, can I become an agent? And so 19 people became agents in my first 45 days. And it started to build out an agency. And when they explained to me the overrides that I would be earning as a result of teaching and training these new agents on how to write policies, how to ask the right questions and service clients, I said, where's this been? The last 10, 15, 20 years of my life.
Right.
And they said, it's been right there. You just weren't ready. And so now that we have been ready, we've been exposed, the override, which is the second way you get paid in our compensation plan, it's called a spread. It's based upon where your contract level is and your agent's contract level is. The difference is the spread. That's the override that you get paid for team building. But here's the unique thing about our organization. 90+% of the agents that work with our company do not team build. So they're making six figures and multiple six figures a year part-time, simply writing policies. But the ones that do decide to team build and plug into our system and learn how to do it effectively, they position themselves to become multimillionaires.
I just got excited all over again. And the reason why I said it is because here is one philosophy that I had in my team building career, which is you don't want to know where all of your money is coming from. Yeah. Because see, if you know where all of your money is coming from, that means that you are the one that's doing the work. You want to have some money where your checks come, like, where did that check come from? I've had that experience. And so I'm excited to be on board where we're actually able to do this. Another thing that drives me, guys, I don't know about you, but it is something that we say babies cry for, grown men die for, and that's recognition. Me personally, anytime I'm doing something, I'm building a business, I'm going out there every single day to get it. A paycheck is always good, because that's how we eat. But recognition is something that I absolutely love to be recognized for. So this company actually has a few different ways that they recognize you, whether it be the six-figure ring, whether it be the jacket club, or whether it be the paid for vacations. Me personally, I like to travel in luxury, travel in style. And it's better when you're not the one that's paying for the trip, so the company's paying for the trips and things of that nature. So I definitely wanted to say to the people as we wrap up and close out, if you're watching this, you will fall into three categories. Number one, you're somebody that says, you know what, I do not want to have a policy. I do not want to build a business on a part-time basis servicing people, but you may want to help the person who actually sent you this video because they like, love, trust, and respected you to actually get you the information so that you can change your financial situation. Or you fall into category number two. You're somebody that says, hey, I have a life insurance policy, or maybe you don't have a life insurance policy and you just want to see how you can better equip your family to future-proof yourself for when life happens, or if the inevitable happens, you'll be able to be a client, right? And then number three, you're somebody that says, hey, I want to actually build the business as well as I need a policy. And if you fall into one of those 3 categories, get back to the person that sent you this video. Let them know which one you are, or 1, 2, or 3. And definitely we look forward to seeing you at the top, because the bottom is too crowded. But we never look down on anybody unless we're willing to help them up. But more importantly, understand this: believing that you can is way more profitable than believing that you can't.